Hello and welcome to the review of Blaster Master Zero for Nintendo Switch, developed by Inti Creates and published by Sunsoft. And the Blaster Master is a sequel or a kind of new remake of the original Blaster Master from the NES that used to be one of my childhood games I played a lot. And it's a very nice and faithful remake or a sequel to the original, and really well done. So let's jump into the game. You can play this game in a multiplayer as well, for a two-player, I mean, where the other player controls basically this shooting reticular that you can shoot enemies with, and the main player plays as the main character of the game. Also, if you play through the game, you unlock unlimited mode for the game, which allows you to play through the game again with all the unlocks and everything already done. Let's go. It took me about 6 hours or so to play through the game, so kind of same length as the original NES games as well when you first time play through them. But this game, compared to the old ones, is definitely much easier. Not the usual Nintendo hard. Now let's get a single player going there. And here again to choose the multiplayer as well. Each of the players use one of the Switch Joy-Cons to play the game, and it's a bit it's not very great, and the gameplay is kind of boring for the second player, as he only controls like the shooting reticular that goes around on the screen. Also, it's kind of frustrating to aim at anything because the screen moves with the main player. So that makes aiming really annoying. Although it is very powerful for bosses, for example, where you're stuck in a room where the boss gun doesn't move, and the second player can just basically wail on the boss endlessly with ammunition. Then let's go to area 1. There's our car. That's very familiar from the original series. And the music and everything is so spot on with the original game. Movement, everything. You can drive around, you can shoot, and you can also jump out of the vehicle and move around with this character. You can crawl around and all of this. And the game is kind of Metroidvania, so you play through the areas as you go, and then you get unlocks that allow you to access new areas and also backtrack and get some power-ups that you may have missed going through the area previously. And most of the power-ups are fairly same as in the original game, but there is also a bunch of new ones. Also, all the zones are very reminiscent to the original one. It's supposed to be basically the same place you are going to again, and the story also is almost the exact same, but a bit more complicated than it was originally. Let's jump down here. And this game basically has two modes. While you're driving around in the world on this car, Sophia, and then the other mode is when you're outside the car, inside like these dungeon places. And let's get to one of them down here. We'll need to climb down a ladder. We'll jump here. You come closer, sir. There we go. And we go in here. But there's a bunch of these places, a lot more than there was in the original. These small dungeons that give you unlocks, power-ups, and then there's of course bosses in here as well. And this is basically the second mode of the game. So you control your little guy running around in here, and you keep shooting. And there's a couple of mechanics in this. The main one is of course your gun that you can power up by finding things. If I would actually find any, doesn't seem to be any in here. And then there's your sub-weapons, like this grenade I have, and you have a limited number of them. Like I have 7 at the moment. And you can also switch them here, or by using your LNR controls. And there we got a map for the first area, so we can use it now. It also shows not just there we go. not just your dungeon map, but also the overworld map. You can see there that we explored this fully. So here we can now switch between weapons. So this is the basic weapon, and then we have a now longer version of that. And there's different levels of that that unlock different type of shots that you can use. Some of them are a lot more powerful than the other, and the last one is so much better than anything else in the game. It's really, really nice. Let's see if we can find another dungeon. And now we have the overworld map here as well, so you can see the blinking areas there being bosses and the dungeon entrances and power-ups and save points and everything. Let's see, let's go to a location with a boss here. So right there. Not sure if I can get to there yet though. Let's see. Let's jump around a bit. The game controls, it's a bit floaty how you control both the vehicle and the main character, but you get used to it really, really quickly, and it becomes basically second nature for you. Let's see. Let's not try to get damaged. Your weapon upgrade goes down as you take damage, so you want to try to not get hit by something. Let's see, now we have a shotgun. This one might be better. Yeah, this one pierces walls. There's upgrades that allow you to take a hit and not lose your weapon upgrade. And it's one of the first upgrades you get in the game, and it's really, really nice because it allows you to tank a hit without losing your weapon power, which is very important. Some bosses become a night and day difference how difficult they are when you have a weapon power and when you don't have a weapon power. And here's the nice old warning and everything that is very familiar from the first game. But less epilepsy causing bosses in this one. Using your sub-weapons in these bosses is very advisable, especially later on when you get some really, really powerful sub-weapons. Well, I took a hit, so weapon goes down and we're using shotgun now, it seems. Although it might be really good for this boss, actually. From the looks of it. There's a lot of bosses in this game. I was actually kind of surprised how many bosses there are. And I was also surprised because in the old game, all the bosses were basically in these dungeons that you have to fight. But the big addition in this one was addition of bosses that you fight with your vehicle also. Also some where you have to kind of fight the boss while being outside the car in the overworld, and those were kind of rough. There's one boss later on in the game where you have to do that, and he basically one-shots you, and you have to climb this kind of tower to unlock your car to keep fighting. And every time you died on that, you have to rewatch the short cutscene on that, and that was a really, really frustrating part of the game for me. Definitely not very nicely done. And there we got another sub-weapon. And as you complete a dungeon, it normally teleports you to the entrance if you have a boss there. But if it's one of those dungeons without a boss, it does not do that for you. And that same way as you unlocked a sub-weapon for yourself, you can also use sub-weapons for the car, which where the missile is the default one, and there's a bunch of different versions of sub-weapons for the vehicle also. And also there's some other vehicle upgrades, not just movement ones, but also weapon related, which are really nice. Also you can upgrade your basic weapon to different types of weapons. So there's a lot of customization that the game allows, but the customization is pretty much just there so that you get this new gun, so you can access the next area. For example, I can show you here one of those places where you can very easily see that in effect. So for example here there is an enemy that blocks the wall, and I cannot damage him with this weapon, so I need to get the weapon unlock to damage that boss, that enemy, to get through there. Also, as I said, there is a movement unlocks for the car, one of them being an unlock that allows you to drive basically like a submarine underwater. There's a climb walls and like a jetpack kind of deal that allow you to do things. For example, here you would kind of want to get that submarine thing, but you can also just use your little guy to swim through like this. I actually didn't notice this option that you can actually swim into here until the very late part of the game, when I was kind of going back through all the areas and exploring that I didn't miss any unlocks or anything. And I already had the swim upgrade for the car, and I was like, oh yeah, we could have actually swam into here early game. Like there is one unlock we missed very start of the game because of that. And if you played the original game, a lot of these areas are super familiar to you. Some of the bosses also are definitely some throwback to the old bosses of the original game. But there is a lot of new ones as well. I felt that pretty much all the bosses in the game, except maybe a couple, were total pushovers. There wasn't really any challenge killing them. Which is of course a bit sad, but at least the game had a lot of bosses and not just a couple that you quickly kill. One type of boss that was used way too many times is this exact type of boss that just spawns these basic enemies in waves basically, and there's almost a boss like this for every enemy type you encounter. There we go. Let's try this. No, a bit of that. What this? No. I think this might be the best weapon for this. But usually these bosses are not like the main story boss or anything. These are usually for some unlocks for small upgrades or health packs or something like that. This one probably unlocks a sub weapon for us. Let's see. We have actually the second. We have ignition. So let's use that one. That's like a mine. Maybe the grenade was actually better in this situation. I was also surprised that some of these sub-weapons are used in kind of clever ways on certain levels. The grenade being an obvious one because you unlock basically areas that you bomb through, almost like Zelda-like. You have see a crack in the wall and you break through that with a bomb. There we go. Now we have the best gun, and you can see why it's the best gun. Goes through everything, does massive damage, spammable, allows me to quickly kill a ton of enemies. And then there's other ones as well. Actually, one of these sub-weapons, not the sub-weapons, but the main weapons, is actually a flamethrower here. And there's an ice level where this actually comes into play, where you can melt some ice and make things easier for you. That way. And here we go. So it's actually a Thunderbreaker, which is a sub-weapon for the Sophia, our vehicle. And this would have been super handy to have as I played through the game, and not at the very end of the game where it was kind of useless at that point for me. There we go. So now instead of using our missile here, we can switch to Thunder here, which gives this a nice thunder effect, which underwater, of course, is pretty damn good. And later on there is like a full stage of a underwater section of the game where this would have been a godsend. So exploring in this game definitely pays off in a big time, and it's very recommended. But yeah, that's basically my quick review of the Blaster Master Zero. If you're a fan of the original SNES game, you'll love this game. It's such a throwback and such a memorable game to play again. Although it is very similar in many parts as the original game, which I was kind of hoping it would be a bit more different, but it's also nice that it is not too far away from the loved and tried gameplay. But also, if you are new to the series, I still highly recommend, as it's one of the best, better like retro type of games available for Switch currently. Not too many this kind of throwbacks to the original game series of the SNES and all of these. So highly recommend to pick this up for new and old players. But anyways, thank you for watching this review of the Blaster Master Zero. And if you like this review, check out the other reviews, let's plays, and all the content on the YouTube channel, and check out the live stream on Nerd.tv, where we play mainly builder management and strategy games, but also some Switch games and other games every now and then. So anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.